I'm joined now by Sam McCarthy, a news writer at the Washington Stand. Sam, welcome back to Washington Watch. Glad to have you.
Thanks very much for having me on, Jody. It's really good to be talking with you.
Well, likewise, Sam. Thank you. All right, you just heard Father Murray very disturbed with how this opens the door to undermine some major teaching of the church. You're a Catholic. You certainly don't want to see your faith undermined or misrepresented, be it from non-Catholics or those in the media. Tell us your reaction to the announcement today.
Well, I do think that it is shocking to a certain extent. As Father Murray noted, we've never quite reached a point like this in the life of the 2,000-year history of the Catholic Church. I do think that it is being misrepresented in media. And I do think, as Father Murray noted, I think that this is a prime opportunity for those who would work against the doctrine and the teachings of the Catholic Church to undermine them. Now, a lot of what the document specifically states does not contradict Catholic Church teaching, but it does open up the opportunity for, essentially poor priests and bishops. I don't mean impoverished, but priests and bishops who are pushing an agenda, a left-wing LGBT agenda. It does open up the opportunity for them to essentially abuse this very explicitly unregulated system that the Pope has just laid out, or not laid out, as the case may be. The actual definition of what these non-liturgical blessings should look like is left essentially up to the discretion of the priest. There are hints given that it should be a matter of pointing the individual towards God, towards goodness and justice and living in the gospel, as the document itself states. But we've already seen, especially in Germany, bishops and priests who have gone ahead and defied the Pope outright with blessing same-sex unions, not just a couple, the individuals, and praying for them and for their salvation, but blessing the unions themselves. If they're willing to defy the Pope outright in 2021, 2022, they're going to do it again in 2023. They're just going to continue undermining church doctrine. And unfortunately, now they have something to point to that they can claim as cover.
And therein lies the problem, the open door, as you describe, and Father Murray as well, that this, I tell you, once a door is open, it's very difficult to close. And this appears to me, and I'd like your reaction to this, to be really two open doors, if you want. One, what Father Murray and yourself described, an open door into the church, putting bishops in an extremely difficult position to try to deal with this whole thing, and that opens the door to undermine the teachings of the church. But it also opens the door for the media to just attack the church and divide it even further. Is that a proper assessment based on the news, media, and the reports that you've seen today?
I'd say so. They very often misrepresent specifically what Pope Francis says. They've misrepresented what most popes have said over the past 40, 50 years. Pope John Paul II, Pope Benedict the 16th in particular, and now Pope Francis. They're trying to push an agenda. They're trying to promote their LGBT left-wing ideology. And they're trying to, we see this not just with the Catholic Church, we've seen this with, the evangelical denominations as well. We've seen this attack on trying to redefine what they are in the media, so that not only are those on the outside arrayed or opposed against them, but in the inside there's now division, infighting, insecurity, and a wondering of what's actually true, what's actually going on, because we do rely on journalists and on media to tell us what's true, to report the truth, and so many of them don't, and it's used as a way to attack Christians.
We're almost out of time, Sam, but do you think Pope Francis will release additional statements to clarify any of this?
He explicitly states in this declaration from the Congregation of the Doctrine of the Faith, which is the Vatican's doctrinal office, he explicitly states that no further statements will be given, no further clarifications, etc. He's not been one really to clarify his comments.
Wow.
Back in 2016, a number of cardinals even asked him to clarify comments he made in his apostolic exhortation Amoris Laetitia, and to this day, he's not responded to them. So it's very unlikely that he's going to. Yep.
Sam McCarthy, Washington Stand, thank you so much for joining us on Washington Watch.